I don't know why people can't get with the times. And when you live in a small house like that, I don't know why you can't just get an electric mower because it's better for the environment and it's quieter. But whatever.
Oh,
You know me, I'm just
probably
the.
expensive.
It's cheaper actually. They're actually cheaper than gas
Oh,
powered mowers.
what do I know?
Nothing. Just kidding.
Hmm.
Um, let's just roll that intro. Hey buddy, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening?
Oh, just
Being an old
another
man, getting
day, another
injured.
pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's um yeah, still dealing with that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling any better with that, or just kind of sucking it up?
Um, it's kind of hard to tell because I'm just on like muscle relaxers and ibuprofen and Tylenol pretty much
Mhm.
all day. Um, but yeah, back spasms, not fun.
Yeah.
Hurts really bad.
I think I said
Yeah,
last time we were
yeah.
recording that like it's weird getting to that age where stuff like that starts happening like a lot more frequently. Like I know
Mm.
whenever I was up in Montana, I was like bent over, like sneezed, and then I was like my back like threw out, and I was like out for like half a week. It felt like like it's just weird.
Hmm. Which is weird. Like I've never broken a bone or
Hmm.
anything like that. So this was like just probably the most intense pain I've ever felt. I
Oh wow.
couldn't like I guess the pain woke me up around what 5 in the morning on Wednesday, I think it
Hmm.
was, and like I couldn't lay on my back anymore. It hurt. I couldn't
Ugh.
shift from side to side because it hurt, and I was like, "What the hell is happening right now?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, tried to go back to sleep and I couldn't, and then it hurt so bad, like I had shortness of breath,
Mm.
which with my
Yeah.
asthma is just a terrible combination. And then even when I was using my inhaler, I couldn't hold in the albuterol long enough for it to even help me.
Oh, because your
Um,
back hurt too much to like kind of expand out your chest.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, I mean, it's getting a little better day by day, but I haven't lifted anything.
Hmm.
I've barely even left my rocking chair in like the last 3 days. Uh, yeah, it's not fun. Like even right now, I have like a little like heating pad on my back just so I
Yeah.
can sit in my office chair that I have. But
Have
it's
you
it's it's no joke. Like it's really bad.
yeah, yeah. So you've been having to take like medicine and stuff, or you've been having to take some drugs for it?
Yeah. So my wife ended up having to take me to the hospital because like I couldn't
Yeah.
do anything, and like they gave me like 2 different shots of, like, muscle relaxers while I was
Hmm.
there. Um, but even when he was just trying to feel my back, like, my whole left side is fine, but
Yeah.
my right side, like, the second he touched it, I was just like, "Fuck." And yeah, so they prescribed me, muscle relaxers. I haven't been working because there's no light duty, and I can't move
Yeah.
anyway. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm taking 3 muscle relaxers a day, and
Mm.
then like I'm taking Tylenol. Um, like if the muscle relaxers aren't working for me, I've been taking
Yeah.
Percocet.
Molly
There's just
Percocet?
no, no. But
I
it's
can't, it said
it's
like a Kodak Black. I can't
rough.
remember who was the artist on that one.
I don't remember who it is. Yeah,
That does sound
it's
rough though.
just a weird week. Like I've
Yeah.
just been home, like, and I can't even like do the dishes or do the laundry or like anything. just because it requires me to stand up for like long periods
Yeah.
of time or like bend down and get in the dryer and stuff like that, and I can't do any of that. Like even this morning, I wanted to make breakfast, and then like just
Oh,
standing in front of the oven, it started to hurt. So
hold on just a second. Let's see if
I've
the
just
video will pick
been.
back up. You've lagged out.
Mm,
There we go. Okay, you're back. You
oh,
lagged out for a second. It was like
okay.
you were cutting in and out on that. Anyways, sorry to cut you off there.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, like I was saying, even this morning, like I just wanted to make bacon and eggs, and just standing
Mhm.
in front of the oven, like my back was like, no, sit down. Like I couldn't stand there longer than like 10 to
Yeah.
15 minutes without it hurting. And that's like not lifting anything. That's just standing there.
Ugh,
So,
that's
but
rough.
I
That's
have
really rough.
more. I have more range of motion today than I did yesterday, just because I've been doing like
Yeah.
some stretches to try and help it. And like I couldn't lift my right arm like higher yesterday.
Mm.
And today it's like I can lift it all the way up without it really hurting. So yeah,
Man, you're
getting
such an
old
old man,
is
huh?
not great. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's just I went in and they're like, was there any specific like incident that triggered this? And I was like, no. I just had an like it was literally like probably a month I've been dealing with just like a random pain in my shoulder blade, and I've just like,
Mhm.
oh, I don't feel it today, so I'm gonna work. And that was not a great choice because it probably
Yeah.
made my back go out. Mhm. Yeah, even just like little coughs here and there, like if
Yeah.
they're like a deep cough, it hurts. So I don't even know like if I can continue doing what I do for work if it's just gonna be
Leave
like
you having
a
issues. Yeah.
nagging injury like this. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
been like a little bit difficult to process.
I mean, I know that
Just
like
like
like going to a chiropractor will definitely help if you do that, but the shitty part is like it's expensive and it lasts forever. I mean, because whenever I threw my back out, what my first year I think I was there, and I mean I
mm,
had to go to the chiropractor starting off every day of the week, and then it moved to 4 days a week, and then it moved to 3 days a week, and then it moved to 2 days a week. But that lasted for about
mhm,
5 months or so. I mean, it did help. It definitely did help, but um, the thing that actually helped me more, where I kind of just completely gave up and just stopped, was when I was still working at the base camp. A couple of my friends did yoga, so I just joined them for yoga, and that actually
mhm,
surprisingly really helped. That stretch training, everything like that, really helped. But I mean,
mhm.
it's all rough, and it just sucks. Like it's back injuries are just shitty. Like they just really suck.
Yeah, yeah. I'll probably have to start waking up earlier and doing some sort of stretching from now on.
Yeah,
But it's been real rough not being able to like
yeah,
do anything. And then like while it was really bad that first morning, like I was like on my knees just like punching the mattress out of anger because like I couldn't get up.
yeah.
Like I could not, and it was like difficult for me to like comprehend like why my body isn't doing what I want it to do. I can't do anything, and it just pissed me
Hmm.
off. And I was
Yeah.
just like, this is so stupid. But yeah, obviously I had to go to the doctor because like I couldn't move.
That's like me when I get sick. I get like when I get sick, I'm not needy because I'm sick. I just get really pissed off that I'm sick, and it just like makes me really
Mm,
grumpy. I really can't stand like, especially like allergies too. If I ever get allergies, I get really pissy, and I just like get very angry, and I'm
mm.
like short with people. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just maybe I'm sensitive. I don't like things not being like normal. Like,
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like if it's you're like things are supposed to work a certain way, and if they
yeah,
don't, like it just makes me really frustrated. Like, how can I fix this?
yeah,
And yeah, it turns out I can't
you
fix it
can't.
instantaneously.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just had to
yeah.
deal with that.
It's kind of a rough week.
And
It's kind of a shitty week. I guess luckily we didn't have D&D this week, so you were able to just kind of chillax some more. But
Yeah, I mean, I was home in time to play, so
yeah,
that kind of sucked. But
I think it was just Brett. Brett was out of town, right? Brett had to go to like a emergency work trip kind of thing.
uh, I don't know. I think
Well, I guess you
we
never
ended
actually
up
talked
back
to him, did
in.
you?
Not about that, no.
Yeah.
Like you were the one that told me it wasn't happening, and then nothing in the
Yeah.
group chat popped up. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess we're just not playing.
I'm
But
excited
I
for it.
saw he was with his
Oh,
mom
go
in
ahead.
Washington or something. So
Yeah,
that's
there was
all.
something where he had to go over to Washington for it, but
Yeah, and that's
when is
where
the is that where he's originally from, is Washington?
like Portland area, but
Ah,
we
okay.
like lived in the greater Portland metro area for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. When is the game? When is the game that you guys are going to?
So
I know
that
you told
I
me last time
believe
I already forgot about it.
it's September 15th, and I'm
I'll be working
flying
and I'll be like,
out
"Hey, my friend's
on
there."
um I'm flying out on the 14th.
Oh, you're flying down there?
We actually, yeah, yeah.
That's a good call. That would be a
It,
miserable drive.
I mean, it would cost too much, and like he
Yeah.
had a ton of air miles for some reason, and I think
Mm.
I don't know if he wanted me to look at the receipt, but it went to my email, and it was like $15 there and back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, those
damn,
air miles
okay.
make it nice and crispy. I want to kind of get another.
Then
I got rid of my credit card whenever I moved back just because I was trying to cut back on all my expenses and stuff. But I kind of want to get my Delta
mhm,
card again because that was really nice. I mean, that's how I was able to like upgrade my tickets to first class whenever I came back for Christmas and everything. Because it cost like
mhm.
barely anything whenever I used my miles. But I definitely need to do
I think
that.
on the way
Um,
on the
Planning
way
to come
back
up there
home,
again.
I'm like, it's not first class, but it's like premium seating or something
Yeah,
on the way
yeah,
home.
yeah.
So that would be nice. And I'm like, I'm terrified of flying, so I'll just probably read a book or something and take my mind off of it.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe take the Switch. Well, I guess the kids will probably play the Switch while you're gone, so you can do that.
Yeah, I don't really. I never touch the Switch. It's not
Yeah,
something I play on at all. It's just like it's so outdated to me. And then I know with the Switch 2, they're already saying it's going to be like lower quality than like the Xbox One S, and I was like, that is awful. Why even put it out?
yeah. I mean, when you have, I guess it kind of makes, I don't know, I guess because you're still using it as like a console that you plug into your TV, that's different. But I know for like the Steam Deck's only a 12, I think it's 1200 by 800 screen. But when it's that small and when it's that compact, it still looks pretty clean and crisp and everything like that. But who knows? So I finally got done with training at the place I've been like doing waiting tables and stuff. So I'm actually able to make tips, which
Mm-hmm.
was super cool. So I picked up like every shift I possibly can just because after not working for like 3 straight months, I like just want to work. I don't want to stay at home anymore. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but last night I had like a little blunder. So I had my manager break 100 because a customer was paying with 100 and their bill was only like $38 or something like that. Um, because I was just in the middle of being busy and I was trying to also get food out to tables, I just took all of that $100 cash and put it right back on the table. So the customer technically didn't pay for their meal at all. So I had that taken out of my tips
Oh,
last night, which sucked. But I still made like decent money. Uh, but everyone there is just like super, super cool. Like everyone's just like really fun to work with. And I don't know, like it's just a really chill, different kind of environment. I haven't done like a waiting job like that where like as hard as you work is how much money you make in a while. So it's kind of
mm-hmm.
refreshing in a way, especially because you know how miserable I was whenever I was working like office jobs where it was like, man, I'm doing all this and where's this money going? Like, uh,
Right, right.
it definitely feels different, but it's good. It's a really good fit and it's really close to home. So like, I mean, I can like roll out of here like late. I can roll out of here like 5 minutes before my shift and still make it in time. Not get stuck by a train, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I've been there.
I was trying to, so I had some customers that came in last night that were from Bozeman, and I was just kind of like chatting with them, and I was trying to explain to them like that whole train situation because one of them like commented on it and like said how like funny he found it that like the town's cut in half, and I was like, yeah, yep. There's only like two intersections that go over that train at all, and both times that there is a
Mhm.
train, everyone starts going there, so it's all backed up with traffic. It's just horrible. But
I always try and leave early just to if I do hit it, I'm still at work on time.
yeah, well, it's such an erratic schedule. I don't think that there was ever like any set schedule. It was always just 100% all over
I
the
don't think so.
place. But I mean, we were lucky that Bobby was pretty chill about like the train because she knew because she's been stuck by it so many times.
Hmm.
But outside of that, I haven't really done much. I finished watching Tales of the Empire, but kind of finally finished the Bari episodes. Um, still just, I don't know, like it's just, I'm not going to say it's bad. Like I thought it was good in and of itself, and it had its own like unique kind of aspect, but then it, it added a lot of like context to characters like Morgan Elsbeth. That was kind of cool, but it definitely, compared to Tales of the Jedi, it just didn't feel up to par. Um, but I don't really know why. I don't know what, I can't really place my finger on exactly like why it feels so different, but it did feel pretty different. But
I haven't checked it out yet, but I wanna get that out of the way before the Acolyte comes out in a couple weeks.
what's the Acolyte?
Oh, that show, the Star Wars show.
Oh, that thing we're talking about today.
Oh yeah, they're
So yeah, so we're gonna have kind of like a little bit of a shorter episode today. I've got to work here in just a little bit, so we're gonna have to cut it off kind of hard within the next like 45 minutes. But
imagine working on the
today,
weekends,
oh
loser.
my God, I know. I had like 2 days off next week, but I ended up just taking up as many shifts. So next week, all I have off is Saturday. So
Do you
um,
Monday off? Or are you working?
I'm working. Yeah, I went ahead and picked up a double. I
Oh,
was only working the evening, but I'd like to try and make some extra moolah. I need to buy a new cell phone,
okay.
like really bad. So I need to try and get through the next few
The
weeks.
Pixel 8A, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, the Pixel 8a looks really nice. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if it's worth $500. I need to probably go into a store and just like futz around with it to see. I
Oh,
might stop by Best Buy or
no phone
something,
is worth
but
$500 in my opinion, but
yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Um, I don't know if I want to drop 500 on that. There's some refurbished phones that I can get like on Amazon and stuff through their like certified renewed program
mhm.
that are pretty affordable, so I
That's
might
what I
do
did for
that.
mine.
Yeah. I'll likely just go back to Google Fi just because it's so affordable. And I mean, the service is pretty good here in Kansas
Mhm.
City. It just was not as great up in Montana. And then it was not, the place that I was working at in Olathe was like a fucking dead zone. Like the minute I would get to work, I'd have zero cell phone service. So
Mm.
I just wanted to kind of switch it back up. But the, I probably need to probably get that. There's like a few other things that I just need to get out of the way now that I'm back to work, but I'm definitely going to start building a PC. I'm going to build a PC that we can use fully to stream and everything else. Not to say my MacBook isn't cutting it, but until maybe, I don't know, I might try to get a new mic first, see if that helps. But there's
Mhm.
just the problem with MacBooks is that Apple is so weird about fans where they don't want fans running on any of their products. So they thermo throttle the shit out of your CPU. So the minute your CPU starts getting hot, they just tail everything back and make everything like super laggy. So I have to run my fans full time whenever we're streaming. And when I'm up here in like the office, which I use for, us doing this, it's just too loud. Like you can just hear it on just about
Yeah,
every
dude.
episode that we've done.
Yeah, when I first
And
started streaming during the pandemic, I was doing
mhm,
it off of my super crappy MacBook, and like it would not run. It always cut out
yeah.
just because it was too much for it to handle.
Yeah. And the problem with specifically the model that you have is that the fans don't turn on until it's like 200 degrees, but by the time your computer gets up to 200
Mhm.
degrees, it throttles itself back so far that
It's
like,
yeah, it's done. It's done.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I noticed like I noticed that specifically, I think it was 2 episodes ago where I didn't have my fans on. It would get to the point where my camera would start to like lag to the point where it was like I would just get frozen. So I don't know,
Oh,
but. I'll just, and honestly, I was going to go out and buy an Xbox Series X because I had to sell mine for trying to pay some bills while I was unemployed. But I
Um,
thought about getting
I
that, but
know.
then when I looked at it,
Sorry.
well, no, when I looked at
Say,
it though, I mean, it's only like 800 or not 800, it's like $600 out of the pocket. So then for $200 more, I could build like a pretty decent PC. And I've got the monitor and everything else, so I don't need to get that. I just pretty much need to build the PC itself.
the actual PC. Okay. I know. If you haven't built one before, Cole has a lot of knowledge on that. If you
Oh,
want to
really?
talk to him and get some like advice, yeah, he's built like two or three, I think.
Nice. Yeah.
And Damon would know a lot about that too, actually.
Yeah.
Like I think they both
Yeah.
built their PCs.
I actually was kind of texting Damon, just trying to figure out some like basic details, but we don't play a lot of the same games. So Eric has been a pretty
Hmm.
big help because Eric just built his own PC. Um, and of course, he plays a
Oh,
lot of the
okay.
similar games as I do. So I might just kind of mimic his specs. But I mean, the shitty part is that I feel like once I start buying these parts, the next gen's going to come out, and then I'm already going to kind of feel like I've lost out on that because it's going to be the same price, right? So I'll just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
I want to do it slowly because I know that like Micro Center, which is one of the like computer stores that you can, one of the computer chain things, I know that Micro Center you can get like a year warranty on all the products that you buy. So it might just be worth it to do that because then if I kind of like slowly, buy parts here and there whenever they're on discount and stuff, maybe it'll be better. But it's expensive, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I would really like to be able to play like just I want to be able to like I don't know. I don't want to have like 17 different electronics. I'd like to have something that I can just use for all the editing that we need to do for this, all of the recording, everything. Just have it all in one place
Hmm.
instead of having to swap out between everything. But of course, with me working tonight, I guess it goes without saying we will not be doing the Baldur's Gate 3 streaming tonight or next week. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Next week is actually my like godson's first birthday. So I'm gonna go do that, and that's like an evening or a late afternoon thing. And then that evening, I'm gonna go up to my friend Alexis and Austin's, and then we're gonna celebrate his birthday since we weren't able to like really celebrate it. So we're gonna do that, which is gonna be fun. Uh, but that's kind of it. I don't really have like much else going on other than just like work, and then kind of just waiting for the Acolyte to come out. I'll uh I'll probably be only working mornings whenever because I think the show comes out on no, it comes out on Tuesdays, which we will not be able to watch it at all live because D&D.
I mean, if D&D gets canceled, then we're good to
Then we
go.
can.
But I'm
Yeah, then
hoping
we
it
can.
it, it doesn't.
I
I'm
know. I
hoping it
miss
doesn't.
it.
But
I jokingly told Brett last week I was like, if you tell me that it's canceled this week, I'm going to fly up there and break all your water pipes in your house. I just miss it. I miss hanging out with the guys and
yeah.
I miss I just miss doing it. It's just fun.
And
It's super super
you
fun.
missed last session too, so you've been
Yep.
out of it for a little bit longer.
I've been out of it for a month. It's like a
Yeah,
bad
and
breakup. I just like,
we're still just doing the dungeon crawl. So,
oh yeah,
hmm
but it's been really fun. Like I know that like I said it kind of like earlier in the season, but like I didn't really think I was gonna like it as much as I love it. And
hmm
I just like the more we play, the more like I start coming up with other character ideas in case my character gets marked or in case I decide to kill him off. But
hmm
um he's just like he's so creative with how he like makes everything blend together. And I love like the twists and turns that we get. And I feel like that's where I would struggle if I was ever a DM, like try to keeping it always fresh, kind of keeping everyone always on their toes.
hmm
But he's just so good at it. He's so good at it.
He's a good DM, definitely.
Well, I think it's time that we talk about The Acolyte, that show that's coming out
Oh
pretty
hell
soon.
yeah, brother! I'm excited.
So, we won't be able to watch any trailers or anything like that just because Disney really loves to claim videos. But I think it was the most recent one. I think it's like the official trailer or the official last trailer that they came out with. I rewatched it the other day and I actually started like getting a little teared up. Like I'm actually pretty darn excited for it. I think it's going to be really really good. And especially I know that you haven't necessarily read the books, but
Mm-mm.
especially since I just kind of got finished. I think like last week I just got finished with the High Republic series. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
excited to get into that universe and see that stuff live action.
Well,
It's just so
I
sick.
think, well, and the thing about it is like, it's it's categorized as like a mystery thriller,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
saw
like, that
that.
sounds super cool for Star Wars.
Yeah,
Because like those are like the kind of like books I like to read, or like
yeah,
some of the movies I like to watch if they're like a little scarier is like the mystery thriller sort of stuff.
yeah. I wonder
And
what it's gonna
then
be
just
like
that it's in
because isn't Stranger
that
Things a
setting.
mystery thriller?
I guess technically, yeah.
I think that's what it's classified as. Yeah. I'm just excited for it, and I think that based on like all the interviews, and then based so they had the live screening. I don't know if you saw that or not, but they had the live screening this past weekend.
Mm.
Um,
I
a
saw
few
like
of my
pictures from the red carpet of it, but that's it.
yeah, Cameron Monaghan was there, and he looked freaking
Mm-hmm.
great. He looked so fine. So oh, and then Sabine. Oh my gosh, the dress she was wearing, Natasha. Sorry, the dress that Natasha was wearing was so good. I I was a little jealous. A few of my Twitter friends actually got invited to it. I think it was if you lived in LA, and then if you had like a certain following base for like Star Wars content, you got invited to
Mm-hmm.
it. So one of my like kind of like Twitter friends, he got to invited to it, and he posted a bunch of pictures from the red carpet and stuff, and I was just so jealous of him. But based on what he said, because of course they made everyone sign NDAs and everything, so they can't like really talk
Right.
about it. They can just like tertiary
Right.
talk about it. But he said that this is one of the most exciting and like exciting Star Wars projects that he's seen come out of like Disney. Just that it feels
Mm-hmm.
fresh, it feels different, and feels new. So I'm really excited for that. Um,
Well, it's like basically the dying days of like the High
yeah,
Republic, and
yeah,
that's super cool. Like we haven't really gone into that setting because they've been building it up for years, and we got a little taste of it in Survivor with like
yeah.
flashbacks and stuff. But I don't know. I'm excited. I hope they um like I hope there's like little cameos here and there, but like nothing
Hmm.
crazy. And
Yeah,
then just that it's more oriented to not light versus dark. Like this is definitely like a
yeah,
very dark side Sith show, and
yeah,
like I always like it when the bad guys win. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens
yeah.
with that.
Well, I think it's going to be nice to have something just different, right? Especially because I know that
Mm-hmm.
like people were freaking like pull quoting George Lucas. George Lucas did it for our listeners. George Lucas just did an interview. I can't remember with who. Hopefully, I'll correct it on
I think it
screen, but
was Variety.
I think it was Variety. Yeah, you're right.
I could
So
be
he just
wrong, but
did an interview with Variety, and people were kind of pulling quotes out of there, kind of willy nilly, where he was kind of talking about like the different direction that Disney took. And one of the things he said is that he feels like Disney, or he feels like the Force is really misunderstood now. But he even pointed out the fact that he changed the Force, like the Force was evolving. Oops, I just hit my mic. The Force was like evolving a lot while he was doing the project as well. Um, but it's one of those things where I think for me, like it's going to be really nice and it's going to be really cool to see a different aspect of it. Not only just what I've read in books, but also kind of what I've seen through some of the EU content. Uh, but I'll be honest, there's a lot of people who are like already shit talking the show, like before it's ever come out. I think the two
oh
biggest
no.
things,
Anyway,
I know, the two biggest things were the lightsaber whip, and then also they have just for whatever
dude,
reason said it's going to be woke trash garbage, which I don't. Nobody can make a
then don't
clear,
watch it.
concise statement on it. I know that's my. I'm like, okay, then don't watch it. Like, but
I
people
mean,
were really
like the
criticizing the
lightsaber
lightsaber
whip
whip.
is a canon weapon. Like
Yeah,
that's it's whatever. You can think whatever you want to think. It's a canon weapon. It's been canon forever.
it was first introduced in
It's just the first time
1984.
it's on screen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
like,
first introduced in 1984, and it was actually
come on.
Luke, if I'm not mistaken, who used the lightsaber whip in that in the comic. Um, and I thought like the rendition of it was fucking sick. That like tiny like half a second clip that we got, that
Hmm.
was just like sick. It was
Hmm.
so cool. I actually think.
It's people are
Oh,
gonna
go ahead.
find reasons to be mad about anything.
Of
Like,
course.
just if you don't, just watch it if you want, and if you don't want to watch it, don't. Like, who cares?
And in fact, the same friend that actually went to that showing, he actually tweeted out. He was like, "I'm now old enough that I can remember when Phantom Menace came out. People were criticizing the double bladed lightsaber that Maul had because people said that that's not how lightsabers work. Yada yada yada." So it's one of those things. Oh, and the other thing they said was exactly what they said about the lightsaber whip. Well, that's just how can you even do that? That's just inconvenient. You would cut yourself, or you would cut your own arm off, or you'd cut your own leg off. Yada yada yada. It's one of those things where I feel like people just will bitch about it just because Disney's involved in the project without knowing like the
Mm-hmm.
deeper stuff behind it. It's the same thing that we saw in
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka, right? Like people were like heavily criticizing like some of the stuff that when it comes to how Ahsoka pulled a lot of stuff out of the Heir to the Empire series, like people criticized it really heavily, and I was like, bro, first off, stop, because Timothy Zahn was a script advisor throughout the entire like show of Ahsoka, and then two, it's in the books. Like just because you didn't see it on the movies doesn't mean that it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't exist. Like, come on.
The one little thing in that show that bugged me was when Sabine got stabbed and just was able to be healed. But we did kind of
Yeah,
touch on that, or
yeah.
Qui-Gon
Well, I mean,
was
like
in a
Ahsoka was
different
able to save
era,
him like
so
right there, right? Like she was right. She landed
yeah,
right after it
yeah,
happened. So I don't know. I mean, freaking Boba Fett crawled out of a Sarlacc pit, and that was even like that wasn't a
yeah.
Disney creation. That was literally as part of like the comic series as well. Like Boba Fett himself had like escaped death like 7 different times.
Even like, you know, Cobb Vanth got shot by Cad Bane, and he's in the fucking
Yeah,
Bacta tank. Like he should be dead, but he's
yeah.
not. So,
It's all you know.
does
What
anyone ever really die?
I
No,
know. That's why I think Mace Windu, that fucking prick. Mace Windu is still alive somewhere.
I kind of hope he is.
You do hope he is. I kind of
It
hope
would
he
be
dies.
now that you mention it, it'd kind of be cool to see like uh Cal and Mace Windu together in some
Yeah.
capacity. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I was thinking about this. I don't know what made me think about this, but it was kind of after, of course, seeing Cameron Monaghan at the premiere. Like I
Hmm.
would say I could actually say with full and firm confidence, I do think that Cal Kestis is my favorite video game character out of all the video games I've played. I think he's my favorite video game character, and then of course I can say still that he is still my favorite Star Wars character. But it's going to be sad because I mean, obviously we know at some point he's going to die you know,
Hmm.
uh, before what would be movie four, A New Hope,
Hmm.
or maybe they're going to play a play with it somehow where he turns away, or I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but it does make me a little bit sad to know that there is going to be a point where we know that Cal is going to die, either in the game or maybe in
Yeah.
that live action show that they're eventually doing. Uh, but I did also notice his red carpet look. Did you notice that he did still have the beard that he had in the game? And he had a very similar haircut. I don't know if that was just him just doing it just for the red carpet look, or if maybe they're preparing for it. Because that show still is
I
in
don't know.
works. I think that show's still supposed to be coming out.
When I saw it, he looked clean shaven to me, but I guess maybe he wasn't.
Oh, I guess, yeah, maybe he
I know he was
was.
wearing
Yeah.
all white,
Yeah, he was wearing all
but
white. But I'm just excited for it. It's just going to be sad, though. It's going to be sad getting to the point where he passes, because we know that that's probably going to
mhm.
be somehow part of the story. But that was a tangent. Back to Acolyte. Outside of the laser whip, lightsaber whip, what's some of the other stuff that you're kind of excited for?
Just for me, it's just that the overall setting in that time period. Just because
Yeah.
we haven't been there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know who the main, I guess not the main character, but like the trainer guy
Hmm.
who's like fighting his Padawan or whatever. Like he looks super cool to me. I just want to kind of see what he
Yeah.
does.
They
But
were
I
saying that
mean, it's
like out
just
of everyone, Kim
I'm
was like
expecting
the
a lot of
most.
lightsaber battles. So
Yeah, and that's going to be really exciting. Like that's going to be exciting because we haven't really seen
hmm.
that in live action in a while. Um, I'm also kind of just excited to see how they do it because this is going to be one of the first shows where they use like full LED lightsabers. They don't try to just base it
Hmm.
100% off of CGI. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how that
Hmm.
plays in there. Um, And I kind of actually, I really like the yellow lightsaber color that they have in the series. It's a lot more like that
Yeah.
kind of
Well, I
gold that we
mean,
got from. It
yeah, that
reminds
was
me a lot of,
common in High Republic, so
well, of course, but the yellow color itself reminds me more of the Force Awakens, the gold lightsaber color from the Force Awakens, more so than like the yellow lightsaber that we've seen in like Survivor and Fallen Order and all the other Star Wars media. uh, but I think the other thing that I'm really excited for is the Wookiee character. That like Wookiee Jedi looks
oh
badass.
yeah, 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 yeah. I remember when they like announced the show, that's all they would talk about. It's like it's a Wookiee with a lightsaber, and that's like all we knew about the show for a long time. And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that's all your stupid shows hanging on, I don't care. But now that there's
yeah,
actually trailers and stuff, he doesn't seem as like as big of a like character as they made it out to
yeah.
be. It's just kind of cool to see that.
It's cool to see it in
He's
live action
he's the
because
little Wookiee
we've seen it in
from
like
one of the shows, I think, right?
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be still the same Wookiee, because I feel like the last time that we saw a Wookiee Jedi was the Clone Wars, but it was the episode
Mm-hmm.
where Ahsoka takes all the Padawans to go get their lightsaber crystals in Ilum, and then they get kidnapped afterwards by Hondo. It's actually one of my favorite Clone Wars episodes. That whole arc that they do with that. Um, but yes, I'm just excited for it. It's going to be cool to see stuff that we've seen. I think based on what I've seen, I feel like they took a lot more out of comics for this. Excuse me, they took a lot more out of like the comic series for this, which is going to be kind of cool and exciting. Uh, I know that they're going to explain it in this series, but it would be really, I'm really kind of also intrigued and excited by figuring out how the like Sith acolytes are going to play into all of this because at this point, if I'm not mistaken, this would have been already after the rule of two with after Darth Bane, so it would have been technically like either they shouldn't exist or I don't know, maybe it could be like a Asajj Ventress kind of circumstance where it's not like an official Padawan, but still somebody who is a force wielder who's using the dark side. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they
Mm-hmm.
kind of like explain that one out. And the villains look fucking sick, real sick.
Yeah, I'm excited to just dive in and solve the
Yeah,
mystery.
yeah.
Just like
I
the dark that and just the dark gritty tone of the show.
I
I think
know.
Star Wars kind of has needed that for
Yeah.
a while.
It's got kind of like a film noir kind of vibe. Are you familiar with what that means? It's kind of an old timey term.
Black
Um,
and white. I don't know.
well, so think of like film noir is it of course was supplanted in black and white movies, but think about like those old detective films where everything's really dark, gritty. Like Sin City. Sin
Okay.
City is a good example of that, where everything's really, really
Okay.
dark. High contrast and light, darkness is dark. Uh, but yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. That gives me kind of a similar vibe where it just feels dark, like you said. It's just a very dark, gritty, kind of like grungy kind of vibe to it. Um, I I kind of like that in this set of trailers that they've given us. They have not spoiled too much. I will say, as much as I personally myself personally liked Ahsoka. Um, I feel like they did spoil a lot of it throughout the like trailers. I feel like a lot of the best moments from the show were also shown in the trailers, maybe outside of like the Clone Wars flashbacks and stuff. So I kind of like that this one
Mm-hmm.
was a lot shorter clips. They really only did like the very, very base stuff just to explain the story going into it. Um, but I'm excited for it, man. I am. I'm not overhyped like I was with Ahsoka. I've intentionally tried to like really curtail how much media I'm watching on it, but I just think it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be just different and cool and new and fresh, and it's like how Andor was. Andor was just completely different than what we had gotten in the past. So that's what I feel like made it so amazing.
Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be a bunch of characters we don't know too. So that's
Yeah.
kind of it's not all just Skywalker, Skywalker, Skywalker.
Yep. Exactly. I really hope that they. I really hope that with Yoda's character in it, because I think they did confirm Yoda's going to be in it in some capacity. I hope that it's just very much just like a cameo, and that's it. That I hope that he doesn't actually play any like major
Yeah,
significant
just a
role into it.
tiny little part. Yeah, because he wouldn't be like I don't think he'd be like a Grand Master or anything at that
No,
point. He'd just
I
be
think
kind of there.
I think through the official lore, I think that he only became the Grand Master like a relatively short. When I say short in his lifespan, it's like 20, 30 years. But I think that it
Mm,
was like a relatively short time frame before episode one. Um, but
okay.
yeah, I also, like you said earlier, though, I think that they've done a really good job of establishing how far the like Republic had fallen. I think they've done a pretty good job of establishing that in the Tales of the Jedi series. So it's going to be kind of cool to see that kind of more manifest. Um, and that I can't remember what the character's name is, but I know Ken, the actor that plays him, the master that you're talking about. Um,
Hmm.
I kind of feel I'm kind of getting the vibe, a similar vibe as to what we saw out of Master Cordova, kind of maybe like eccentric, kind of solo,
Okay,
kind of doing his own
yeah.
thing. I don't know. I noticed in a lot of the trailers it was just him by himself. You know, I didn't even see like necessarily a droid companion or anything. So I wonder if it's going to be
Well,
very similar to that.
there's flashbacks and stuff too, because like when in some of
Yeah,
the trailers he has long hair, and then later he has short hair.
yeah.
So
Because
I think
I
there's
think
going to be a
it
lot of like him training whoever this
her. Yeah,
Padawan assassin ends up being. But I mean, like a lot of the trailers are kind of showing the same thing,
yeah.
so they're really, really like not giving anything away, which I think is great.
And the other thing I noticed is that in all the trailers, they really made sure that everyone was like shocked. The Jedi's were all like shocked, confused, wondering
Hmm.
why that assassin was, you know, who trained. I mean, because the Carrie scenes, all of the scenes with Carrie, I can't remember her last name, Trinity from. Uh,
That's it. Area and Moss.
there we go. Yep, Carrie Ann Moss. So all of the scenes with her,
Yeah,
you know, God, she's just such a good Jedi. I'm excited to see her in it too. It's like
she's just
she's
like super intense. Like
yeah,
it's great. Like just really wise. Like
yeah.
Audie just looks like a wise Jedi who's not going to take your shit. You know.
And every like all of the movement she did, like I mean, she's obviously because I think she did most all of her own stunts whenever it came to
I think so.
the Matrix. But she also, I think her career before that was like a motorcycle racer, and then also did like motorcycle
Oh
like
wow.
she was like a motorcycle stunt driver or something. So she's already kind of got that like real talent down. But just even seeing that simple movement that she has that whole time, it just I don't know, like it's I feel like I haven't really seen that even as much as like I said, as much as I did love Ahsoka, I felt like there was still this part of seeing Rosario that just you could tell that she was playing a character. And kind of from what we've seen with
Hmm.
the trailers, Carrie Ann, it just feels like it feels like I don't know, it didn't I didn't get the same vibe that I've gotten from some of the other stuff where it's like, okay, this is a movie, this is a character, these are people playing people. Like it almost felt way more realistic. That whole fight scene just felt so natural is like the only word I can really think of, or organic is the only word that I can think of, maybe to describe it. I'm just excited for that. I'm excited for
It's
that
just
little
like
bit.
it like I don't know if it's like the way they're filming it, but it's like even just watching the trailers, I am like intently just in it,
Yeah,
just actually paying attention to what's going on. Like it's just so intense and it draws you in, just because like they don't know what the hell's going on either. You
yeah.
know,
I'm excited to see the making of series once the show comes out because I mean the cinematography, like you said, is
they put
already
it out this morning.
amazing. Oh, they did.
They did. I haven't watched it, but they
Oh,
put
I'm
it
gonna
out this
watch it.
morning. It was like the making of the Acolyte. Yeah.
God. Okay. Cool. Because I mean, all of the camera shots, like you said, are just so good, and that really dark contrast really makes those lightsabers pop. I'm
Hmm.
just excited for it, man. I'm so excited for it. I'm excited to see how the characters play into it. I really think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna have. I think that the people that we've seen on screen is going to be kind of like a ragtag kind of group. I think that it's going to be
Hmm.
uh, people who are not sanctioned by the Jedi Council, who have maybe been told don't do this, and then they go and pursue it themselves.
Right.
Uh, but
I'm just
it's just
hoping
so
like there's
cool.
a scene somewhere where it's dark and you just see like a bunch of red sabers light up, and it's just like, oh
Yeah.
shit. Like
Well,
I'm hoping for that. If it doesn't happen, that's cool. But I'm
well,
hoping
did
to
you
see
notice
something
that
like
it's
that.
not? Well, I mean, it's not on any of the trailers, but it's on one of the trailers. It's on one of the trailers' thumbnails. I noticed that whenever I was kind of flipping through it, because I was trying to find for this background that I have here on OBS, I was trying to find like a good picture, and it was the most official recent trailer. It's like the thumbnail that was on Google whenever I Googled it was three. three characters, one, one with I think a double bladed lightsaber, one with just a single blade, and then the guy with like the mask kind of thing standing in front. So I think it'll be
Okay,
cool.
I haven't seen that, but that
I'll have
that's a
to
pretty
I'll have
good
to send it to
indicator
you.
that that might happen then.
Yeah, because it kind of reminds me that whole screenshot or that whole thumbnail kind of reminded me very similarly. Did you? I guess we never really played it, but the Old Republic. Did you ever watch any of like the kind of like clips from the
Watched
Old
like the
Republic?
cinematic trailers from it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's the one cinematic cutscene where when the Sith ship first
it's like
lands, they're
all the
like,
Sith. Yep,
yeah. And I
I've seen
honestly,
that.
I've been
I've definitely
wanting to
seen
see
that.
that in live action for so long. I've just been thinking how fucking sick that would look just
That's
to see.
exactly what I was talking
Yeah.
about when I brought that up.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It looks so sick and I can't wait to see that. I really hope that we do get a scene with that. Um, but then also too, the only other complaint that I saw, which I feel like we can address since we're both big Star Wars nerds. So a lot of people I think that maybe only grew up on watching the movies. Maybe you're not like as deep into the lore and as deep into the other content as we are. A lot of them have critiqued pretty heavily that they say it's weird that Disney's making like all the technology better in the past than it was in the future. How like technology was downgraded. And I think even George Lucas kind of gave an explanation for that in the sense that, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was him that talked about how the Empire got rid of all of that like fancier technology because they felt like it was unnecessary because it doesn't go against or it kind of went against the power and the sheer numbers, like power by numbers that the Empire was trying to focus on. Um, it was a big reason why I think they explained it even a little bit in the Mandalorian series, if I'm not mistaken, as part of like why the Dark
Mm.
Troopers were the new form of troopers because it wasn't officially sanctioned by, of course, the Empire because by that point the Empire was already gone, but that
Right.
they were kind of going away from just everything being about utility and only about usage. They definitely touched on it in the Tales of the Empire series. It's part of Morgan Elsbeth's story, which I'm not going to spoil, so you can watch it. I know that Thrawn has
Hmm.
talked about it in the Rebels series about how the Empire is, only wanting to spend on what's going to get us the highest number of these products. That's why Tie fighters don't have, you know, jump drives or I think it's called a jump drive. I don't know. I just blanked out on that part, but people have critiqued that pretty heavily about how the technology looked so much better in the past, but a lot of that was because the Empire was trying really hard to be the antithesis of what the Republic was. When the Republic was about scientific, expansion and everything, the Republic is not, or the Empire is not.
Well, even if they're criticizing the technology and the Acolyte, this is when like basically when the Jedi are at the height of their power.
Yeah,
Like this is the most peaceful time period for the Jedi. Like they're gonna have better stuff, and then you're about to see this Empire just fucking crumble.
yeah, yeah,
So stuff's gonna go away. Like it. Think about it for 4 seconds, like
yeah.
before you start criticizing everything.
I mean, and it kind of does. It makes a lot of sense. I think that like to use like a real world historical example, I think Nazi Germany is a pretty good example of that. How Germany in the early
Hmm.
1900s, all the way up until pretty much until World War One, was the scientific superpower of the world. They were coming out with all this new science. They were coming out with new forms of science. I mean, it was under early Germany, or sorry, early 1900s Germany that like our understanding of physics, our understanding of how atomic power works, all of that stuff was all created through them. And then all of that was thrown out the window with Nazi Germany because they didn't view it, they didn't value it, and they just viewed it as unnecessary frills that they were trying to go back to old times, which is very much what the empire is about as well. So there's pretty easy explanations for it, but like you said earlier, I think that people will just bitch about it just because Disney has their name attached to it. But I don't know. I'm excited for the show. I'm really excited for it. I'll be excited to see it. As much as I really do want us to have D&D, I kind of hope that night we can't do it so we can watch those first two episodes. And if Kyle and I are not having D&D, this is a good chance for us to tell you to join our Discord because we have a really nice Discord. Because we will, that's kind of the best way for us to reach everybody at this point, just to be able to get mass word out. Just because I know that our Twitter's not
Yeah.
super popular, and uh, I know that you guys probably don't follow both of our personal socials at all, but um, join our Discord because if we end up being able to do those watch parties, that's what we'll ping it out to everybody and we'll say, hey, we're doing watch party tonight, which will just be me pretty much screen sharing us watching the show together. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it for me when it comes to the Acolyte. You got anything else, buddy?
No, I mean, like you're saying, I'm trying not to hype it up just because
Yeah,
we did that so much with Ahsoka and even Obi-Wan a little bit, but like it looks good, and I'm hoping it is. Um, that's June 4th premiere, correct?
I think so. Yeah, next
Okay,
Tuesday, not this upcoming Tuesday, but the following
okay,
Tuesday. Yeah, so
all
Tuesday the
right.
4th. That's right. But yeah, I think outside of that, I don't really think I have much else to talk about today. We don't really have any other Star Wars stuff. Do you? Well, what music have you been listening to recently? Forgot to do that at the beginning.
What have I been listening to? A lot of Charlie Crockett, just because I'm about to go see him.
Yeah.
Um, then I guess Bring Me the Horizon put out a new album yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And I've gone a little through it. They actually have a song with Aurora on there, who I think you listen to.
Nice. Yes, Aurora is one of my favorites.
Yeah, so just a
That'll be
little like super
interesting.
weird that they would get her to
Yeah.
be on a song, but I thought it was super cool. I was like, oh.
I'll have to give that a
And
listen because
then
that's not her normal style. She's more like chill, kind of indie. That's
well,
kind of like complete
they kind of
antithesis.
I know you probably don't really listen to them that much,
Hmm.
but they
Yeah.
mix genres like insanely well. So they could easily throw
Cool.
her into like anything they're doing.
Yeah, I'll definitely give that a listen.
Um, then I guess did you want to talk about the music we're using for our intros and
Oh yeah,
outros this time?
yeah. It's Kyle's.
All right.
Excuse me, I just like burped in my mouth there. It's Kyle's week this week. So Kyle, tell us a little bit about the artist that we're
Yeah.
using this week.
We're using a little band from my old neck of the woods, PDX Portland, called All Hype. They have a few shows coming up. One in Portland on May 31st,
Okay,
and then
just in a few days.
they have a show. Yeah, and they have a show up in Tacoma on June 1st, right after that, and then another in Seattle the day after on June 2nd.
Nice little tour. That's
And
cool.
they put out an album I think sometime last year called 3D, and I've been listening to that quite a bit, and it's definitely like pop punk rock alternative kind of stuff
Hmm.
that you'd just kind of listen to like on a summer drive and stuff. But I'm like
Yeah,
super into them, and like it was super cool that they were like, yeah, just use whatever song you want, and it's all good. And I think they're like pretty nerdy dudes too,
yeah,
from what I've gathered, like super into Star Wars and video games and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of a good fit for us to use
yeah,
other nerds' music.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean,
There's a lot
check
of
out if you're
intersectionality
in that
between like,
area, check out those shows.
oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I gave him a little bit of a listen before we started, and
Hmm.
it's pretty sick. It's not normally what I listen to necessarily, but it definitely is. It's more of what I'm getting into because I find myself getting more into that kind of style of rock more.
They've got a pretty good sound. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised that like because I had it on and I was just like not really paying attention too much the
Hmm.
first listen through, and then like there were certain parts where I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna start that song over and listen to it. But like, I don't think we're using my favorites today, but they have a couple other ones. It's like Morgue and the actual like title track 3D. They're both super
Hmm.
good, but we're using I think from Out of Nowhere and Momentum, and
Hmm.
those ones are
Yeah.
super good too. So yeah, just super cool, super chill dudes from what I gather. Just tearing up the Portland scene. So that's super
That
cool.
is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Um, for me, I haven't really listened to. I've kind of just been listening to the same stuff kind of recently. Tora put out a few different new tracks, so that kind of like indie electronic vibe is definitely pretty
Mm,
cool. And then kind of one of my newer favorite bands, they just put out a new album called Paramount Pleasure, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and then there's a playlist actually on Spotify that I've been listening to a lot recently. Sorry, Joywave is who I was talking about. I don't know why I just blanked out on that.
Joywave. Okay.
Yeah, Joywave. So they have kind of like a new. It's much more of like a punky kind of vibe. They're definitely pretty firmly planted in like that alternative kind of style. It's very similar to like Siamese Elephants, but maybe just a little bit more guitar heavy. Um,
Okay.
Trying to think of what else. Cage the Elephant just put out a new album recently. I haven't really listened to them much at all since like
I didn't even know they were
college.
still around.
Yeah, they put out a new album. I can't remember how long ago it was, but I only just recently found it again. Neon Pill. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's got some pretty banger tracks on there. Um, I'm never ashamed to admit that I'm a big Billie Eilish guy. So Billie just put out a new album, and it still has that like classic Billie sound, but it definitely feels new and it feels fresh. I kind of like that she's kind of breaking away from that just like very kind of soft music kind of genre that she's kind of been in.
Mm,
And then there's actually this playlist on YouTube. There's this playlist on Spotify that I've been listening to a lot lately called Melantronic. It's like melancholic electronic kind of music. It's just like really good
okay.
music to kind of play in the background and just kind of chill with. It's got a few of my like some of the artists that I actually really enjoy. Um, but yeah, that's kind of been about it. There's a show that just came out on Hulu a few months ago called The Greatest Hits. And
Okay.
it was a pretty good show, but the soundtrack was like all of my favorite songs from college. It was like so freaking good. So definitely, if anybody's listening, definitely check out their soundtrack because their soundtrack has a lot of really good alternative and indie artists on there. Um, it's very good vibes for like the summer and stuff. And then a good summer hit that just came out, which is somebody that we will use, I think, in soon for our intro and outro music, is one of the
Hmm.
people that I actually kind of soft interacted with on Instagram. His name is Cody Q. He is a like a kind of a solo artist out of Nashville, and he just put out a summer hit, which the name is escaping right now, which I feel bad about. Take You Home, and it's pretty good. I'll send you a link to it because it's actually very summer vibes. It's like it's a summer bop. It's a good summer bop.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of been about it. And I mean, I haven't really, but excuse me, I haven't really watched any shows, and I definitely haven't played any video games. I've just been playing kind of Crusader Kings 3 kind of here and there. I haven't had time to really dive into anything else. But I
Hmm.
think that's it. I think that's it for me.
Yeah. Then
You've
yep.
had a really boring week, so you don't have much to say.
No, I've just been sitting for most of it,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's not a whole lot going on this last week for me.
Yeah. Well,
Dealing with back pain. That's it.
as always, if no one else tells you this week, we love you and we care a lot about you and we appreciate you. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. And if this is being played live on Twitch, don't forget to hit the heart icon. Don't forget to follow. We have a Patreon up. You can find it in our links down below. And if you want to join our Discord, that's a really good way to keep in touch with us. And that's also a good way to kind of get all of like the episode notifications, if we're doing live streaming or if we are doing like watch parties, anything like that. That's the best way to kind of keep in touch with all of that stuff. Outside of that, trust only in the pod. And Kyle, do you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, this has been episode 5, right? Is this episode 5? I really hope it's episode 5 because I
This is
had.
episode 5.
Okay, good, because I had it down below and I didn't think about looking at that. So, anyways, thanks for joining us for episode 5 of Nerd Pod. We will see a lot of you guys not next week. We're taking a break next week. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.